What's up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with another Transformers third party review. And today I'm going to be reviewing not a new figure. In fact, you might almost say that this is a classic third party review. And that's going to be the Mastermind Creations, whatever they call it, Night Morpher, something, something, something. That's Screamer and Stormer and Warper. And they are, all three of them, basically, essentially the same figure. They do have a number of key differences, which I will go over. But I'm really going to just be like grabbing one of these guys and focusing on, actually, it's probably going to be Starscream here. Because why not? Anyhow, so these guys here, these are based off of a comic book that Hasbro did in the early aughts, I want to say. The Hearts of Steel. Basically, it was a what-if comic of what if, instead of being awoken from their millions of years dormancy in the 1980s, what if they were awoken from their millions of years dormancy in the, 1890s or something like that? I don't know. In the whole, industrial age of America. And so they've got this all steampunk kind of aesthetic, which a lot of people really, really liked, and they did fairly well. And Mastermind Creations made they made a Shockwave, and they made a Prime, and they made these guys here, and then some other company made a Bumblebee. And so there's a few figures from that whole comic line that you can get. Really interesting. That looks way more obnoxious on with my eyes than it does on the camera. So these all come packaged in the same sort of clamshell case. Basically, these wings are not attached. You'll have to attach them yourself. There's like a little, the way it looks like it's done, it's like there's a cam with this little gear here, and you push it in and then rotate the gear 90 degrees to lock it in. But my findings have been that's not how it is at all. You just put it on and then it snaps in and it works. Well, I just realized that when I mail these off, I'm borrowing these from a friend of mine. Shout out to my friend, you know who you are. I'm going to have to remove these at some point, and that's starting to make me a little bit nervous. I hadn't actually thought about that till just now. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so these figures are all pretty much the same. I'm going to go over the paint and sculpt of each of them just real quick. So we got your Screamer here, and he's got a pretty good sculpt and mold to him. It's a little gangly looking, to be honest. A little gothic looking, with the whole wings and spiky parts and whatnot. But it is really interesting. I do like the whole gratuitous use of all these rivets everywhere. I kind of like that. His face sculpt has got your traditional, typical Starscream smirk on him. He's got his eyes have this clear plastic with a light piping, but that's just dumb because his head is completely covered in with this cockpit area. So even if you get some lights back there, you can't see anything. So he's molded in this kind of semi-metallic plastic. This red plastic here isn't painted. Actually, aside from details, he's not really painted a whole lot anywhere on him. Details, or whatnot. But these gray gears, those are gray paint, plastic. light gray plastic, dark gray plastic, blue plastic. Even down here, blue plastic, blue plastic. Not a surprisingly low amount of paint details on here, which I think is okay. You know, yeah, I don't really like the idea of paint apps coming off with wear and tear as you handle your figure or whatnot. So I think it's kind of cool that they've got a surprising amount of paint app details. These little panels here like to come off. I don't know exactly what the problem is. By the way, it's kind of interesting when you take that off. Of course, this is an unfinished part of the mold, because why would it need to be finished? It's hidden back in there. So you can see all the machining marks. That's cool. Yeah. You can see here that they used is that a 1/4 inch end mill to machine that flat? Yeah, 1/4 inch end mill. So, anyhow, nerd stuff. So he looks good from the front. He looks good from the back. Not a surprisingly low amount of paint apps, and that's pretty much all I've got to say about this guy. We're going to move him to the side, go on to one of those other guys. So, big difference here. All of the silver here, like this is more of a gray plastic. Let me just kind of wiggle this off. Pretty certain this is just more of a gray plastic. I'm also pretty certain that this panel just comes right off. Yep, I was right. On both accounts. It is kind of a white plastic actually. And it's, oh hey, look, more of those machining marks. And it is painted in this really high chrome. It's not like chrome, but it's like a really, really reflective silverish color. And that seems to be the main paint apps here. So here, that's gray plastic. Little dot of yellow there, little dot of blue there. Of course, the lines on the wings. Little detail on the butt flap. They look really good though. Stand, damn you. Yeah, maybe if I put his heels in the proper position, he'll stand. Funny how that works out. Again, with this guy, lots of silver details in here. One thing I want to point out, so Starscream has got a smirk face, Thundercracker has got just a stoic face, and Skywarp has got this like yelly face. But he also comes with a face like Thundercracker's. It's just in the box. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Also, their arm cannons are different on each and every one of these. Like this guy, he's got these like cannon things here. This one almost looks like some sort of a steampunk railgun. And then Starscream has got these like Gatling gun things. So, let me get into their accessories real quick. I haven't actually opened up their accessories because this isn't my figure and I don't want to like, you know, open crap up and possibly lose it and whatnot. So this is the one for Thundercracker. He's got a whole set of these like screw covers here. It's interesting because I don't see a whole lot of screw holes. So I'm not sure where you'd put them. Like he's got a couple screw holes here, but these are in blue and this is in black, so I don't know. I guess he's got a couple screw holes. Actually, these aren't screw holes. Those are rivet points. Like actual rivet points. So I guess that's where you would put them on the wings there. Looks like we've got 6 on the bottom. Sorry, 8 on the bottom, 8 on the top. And maybe if you felt like it, you could put some on the arm if you want them to contrast. It's not mismatched. It's contrasting. Clearly. He also comes with a piece of track. I think when Starscream came out, people were like, oh, why doesn't he come with some track? Because he does have, when he goes into Exalt mode, he fits on the track that came with the Optimus Prime Choo-Choo version that they later made a Nemesis Prime Choo-Choo version. And I think that it's designed to hook up with that and fit on the same track. So he comes with a section of track to extend out that a little bit. The Skywarp guy comes with purple covers that would clash with the black wings, but you know, it's contrast. It's not clashing, right? Another section of track. There's his other head, which I don't know. If you wiggle it around, you can see it's the same expression as this guy here. He also comes with a set of these light gray hands. He comes with dark gray hands on him, and it's interesting. So his hands here are the same shade as like those ones or those ones, but these guys have dark gray for like the upper arms and the inner leg mechanics, and here, but on this one it's a light gray, so that would come off the same sprue, and that would be light gray like this. I think these are the original hands that came off the sprue, but they're like, we're gonna give him these darker gray hands because they look better. So he comes with an alternate set of hands that are exactly the same, just a different color. These covers here in a section of track. Again, I'm not pulling this out because it's not my figure. I don't need the instructions and I don't need the little gimmicky things. And then last but not least, we've got Starscream. Starscream is just going to come with a set of these rivet covers. All three of them come with this caution thing that talks about these thin and fragile sections, which is going to be the wings, the hip things, the skirt armors here, the hip armors, and the little ears on the side of them. I'm going to get through all of that when we come to the transformation. I have successfully transformed both Starscream and the Skywarp. I haven't transformed Thundercracker because I was having an issue with him getting his head to recess fully. And that was a problem for me. And then when I was looking at it, I was realizing that, oh, son of a bitch. Huh. I was going to say, I was noticing that that these guys have got a recess where the head will go all the way back. But this guy doesn't. But now, as I'm looking at him, I may have just solved this mystery right here on camera. Yeah, you see these like little things sticking out of the back of his head? Those are eye segments for light piping. Let me just rip his head off real quick. Hold on a second. Ow, ow. Propeller's stabbing me. There is a propeller, by the way. Those of you who want to complain about my use of of rotor versus propeller. What is the problem? Okay, his head is gonna want to come off. Like that. Yeah, some clever person in Mastermind Creations factory has put his face on. The inside of his face has been on backwards. I'm gonna have to fix that. Pry it out here and swap it around. I'm not gonna make you guys sit through that. Okay, I didn't make you sit through it, but it only took me like 5 seconds. Well, I've got his head out here. Let's take a better look at the look of it. And again, he does have light piping. It works great if you can get light back behind there. But due to the structure of the figure, you're never gonna get that lighting back there. So live with it. Alrighty. Also, in terms of accessories, I'm going to get these guys out of the way for just a minute. They've all got these, what I often think of as a typical Mastermind Creations engineering idea, which is these little waist rings that have got side skirts hanging off of them. Hexatron has these. These guys all have them, and I think their boat guy has them too. Anyhow, these just pop right off, and they can be wielded as like blade things. Yeah. See, they've got a little handhold here. You can stick them like they're swords. So that's something. Also, you can take these and you can plug two of these together and get some like Darth Maul shit going on here. And also, if I recall correctly, and it has been quite some time since I've seen Vangelis's review of these. Vangelis reviewed them back when they were like still brand new, still like prototypes, I think. And if you pull these off, this is the part that I was talking about being nervous about. Son of a gun. Anyhow, if you pull these off, I think there's a way, to combine the both of these together. If you put these parts out like this, you can combine them into there. Jeez, that clicks in way harder than I think it should. And so he can be holding like one of these in one hand and the other one in the other hand. And he could be just a hazard to everyone around him, because I always think these weapons are just stupid looking. They're like, I'm going to cut you and cut myself at the same time. Especially these ones that have got like propellers and whatnot on them. Yeah. Thanos has got a weapon like this in the movie and it's still stupid. But anyhow. Oh boy, how am I going to get these apart without killing myself? Because everything on these figures is sharp. Okay, there we go, that worked. Here's the cam that I was talking about. It just rotates on this little gear here. The little gear that's designed to look like it's got planetary gears inside of it, but it doesn't. And I found that there's just basically no point to those little cams. Just sit those and clip them in like that. Of course, you need to align them properly to get them clipped in. But when I try turning them afterwards, they don't really want to turn. So I just haven't dealt with it. Get this attached back on, and then we'll get down to posability and then transformation. Sorry that this is already taking a little bit longer than I expected. It's because I've got like 3 figures, and I know that they're relatively the same, but they're actually all a little bit different, and I want to be cognizant of that. So in terms of articulation, his head is on a ball joint. It'll look about fairly well. It'll look up all the way. It'll look down a little bit. His arms are on little ratchets. He'll go around that much and around that much. If you've got his wing off, it'll go all the way around, but you know, if you don't have his wing off, it'll only get that much. Arm goes out all the way on the even softer ratchet. Soft. Out for a full tree pose. He's got a bicep swivel. It works just fine. Double jointed on the elbow, allowing him to bend all the way up and poke his shoulder if he really wants to. His wrist is on a ball joint, and so it ball joints. It's got this, so it has this little transformation joint here. But on the actual socket of the ball joint, it ball joints around a little bit and it rotates just fine. He does come with a waist joint that is nicely ratcheted. These little things, they're like hip skirts, but they're like upper hip skirts. They're not actually on his hip. But if you kind of move those out of the way, that allows his foot to go forwards that much. It will go backwards that much till it starts banging his butt flap. If you move that out of the way, you can get it to go farther back. If we push this wing out of the way, we can get his leg to go for, come on, arm, go. The full Van Damme, actually he can go like 110%, 120% almost Van Damme. So that's cool. He's got a thigh swivel there. Knee joint. One of the cool things about this knee joint, if you watch this, he's got, this came out more along the terms of like Dark of the Moon and whatnot, and the whole like mech tech or automorph or whatever they called it was a big thing with some of the toys. So if you see here, when you bend this knee, you've got this little gear here moves, and this little cog moves as well. That's kind of a fun little thing that it does. That's fun. It's cute. His toe is on this hinge here with a ball joint here at the bottom. Allow his toe for some freedom and posability. He's also got his a hinge and a hinge for his heel. So between the toe and the heel, you can get a large degree actually of posability, and works out pretty well. Of course, his propeller spins. His wingtips will move out, so he can go for the full wing boner, or you can collapse it down for more efficient shelf presence. Let's get into the transformation. Transformation on all three of these figures is going to be exactly the same, so I'm just going to do the one. I'll center this a little bit better. I need to get myself a better backdrop. First of all, it's probably plastic based, not paper, because I keep on getting like residues from the toys soaks into the paper and looks dumb. But also I hate having to replace these papers periodically. I just want to do it right and get it done and not have to replace it ever again. Also, I can get it a lot wider if I custom build one. So if anybody knows where I can get a nice big old sheet of blue plastic with a good texture that's maybe 35 inches wide, let me know. Anyhow, to get this guy transformed up, first thing we're going to do is we're going to poke his little ears in. This is one of the parts that they told you to be careful about. Put his head facing all the way back so he's looking straight up. And then what you want to do is you want to kind of detach this tail. You've got this little notch right here. It actually clips into a little peg that's hiding back behind all of his stuff here. And you're going to bring his wings up, which is going to automatically pull his head down. Actually, before we do this, we need to lower these shoulders ever so slightly. Anyhow, so you're going to bring his wings up, which is going to put his head down, and then this is going to tuck in right over his head. Well, that hasn't happened before. There is a that's not cool at all. There's a little tab right in the front that's going to kind of hold on to that. came right back off. Huh. Hopefully that doesn't come off again. Alright, so what you're going to do for this part here is, first thing you're going to do, if you kind of wiggle his hand around, you can use that to help pop this panel open right here. You're going to rotate his hand around. There's a peg right here and a tab right here, and you would suspect that that would go in, but honestly, I've never really gotten that to work and haven't found it to really be needing to work. You don't want to close it just yet, because you're going to have another part that's going to come in past this point, and I think that's what makes it hard to mate those surfaces, those features together. So you're going to rotate his arm all the way back while keeping this armor piece facing forward. And now this tab is going to bend and fit into this slot here. You'll see that there's two slots on his shoulder. It's going to fit into this back one here, like so. So again, rotate his shoulder back while keeping the armor facing forward. Rotate this around, peg it in to the back slot there. And that's great. Now you're going to take and open these panels back up, or maybe just not close them to begin with. We're going to take these wings. You'll see that there's this cutout right here. This tab, this little feature right here, is going to fit inside there, and then these little tabs on the outside of that are going to fit into, there's these grooves on his forearms. So you're going to take and slide it onto those grooves, and then this is going to come up and just close over that. And that's a wing all done. So again, with the other ones, slide those into those grooves. Close this up. And that's that. Now we're going to take his waist and we're going to rotate it 180 degrees, which puts his little train crotch on the back, which is weird, but oh well. When I was first transforming this guy, I was trying to transform it with the train crotch facing forward, because I mean that's clearly like a cow catcher, like a snow plow or whatnot, but no, it goes on the back. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to rotate his legs all the way up. We're going to bend them out to the side, and then this tab is going to fit into that slot right there. Like so. Like so. Of course, it's only because I've got the camera up that I'm having any kind of difficulty with this whatsoever. Alright, so that's one. And that's two. Alright, so you're going to kind of make sure that these are straight and facing out, and I just untabbed that son of a gun. Alright, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take this peg right here, fits into a slot right here on the underside of his elbow. And it's going to fit in there actually pretty securely. And that's just going to keep everything honest. Like that. We're going to do it for this other one here. Alrighty. And then on his ankles, these parts are going to tab together like that, and then this is going to fold in, tuck into that little hollow space there, and there's his third set of wings is on the toes. And there you have the Night Morpher star. Oh wait, forgot one little thing here. These little struts here are gonna fit into. There's a feature here up just behind this tail fin, and they are going to tab into that. They make a real distinctive snap sound when they go in, but they don't seem to want to snap for me at the moment. No, I'm not gonna dig around with it. It's good enough. And I feel like I'm doing something wrong because this is not sitting as pretty as it. There we go. Something. I don't know what I did, but I did something. So there he is in his airplane mode, and this is the least aerodynamic airplane ever to exist. One minor thing I want to point out is that on Starscream, his little guns are circular, but for both Thundercracker and Skywarp, they're not. So you're going to need to, when you transform these, turn them like that so that they will fit. Otherwise, they won't fit properly. But yeah, in this mode, he is the world's least aerodynamic airplane. A little bit of cockpit detail up here. Big old tail fin here. Everything on this toy will stab you, by the way. So this is sharp. This is sharp. This is sharp. 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 Everything on this is sharp. So be careful when you're handling it. He's got little train wheels down here. You can rotate them out. And this guy will, and I haven't pulled the track out like I pointed out to you, but he will sit on the same track that the Night Morpher Optimus Prime or Nemesis Prime came with, and it'll actually connect up to like a hitch on that Nemesis Prime so that he can tow them around. Unfortunately, I don't see a way for you to hook up several of these guys to like have like all three of them just being towed along. But yeah, you know, taking off from a train track seems like it would be a feasible thing to do if your track was straight enough and flat enough. Landing on a train track, I can only imagine would be just a complete nightmare to work out. I don't think it could be done. But yeah, so it's rotate. Ow! Flicked the wrong part of that. That really hurt. Propellers spin. Guns look good. It has the Starscream color palette. And yeah, that's about all that there is to it. All three of these guys will look similar when they're in their airplane modes. But thanks everybody for watching. You guys are fantastic. This has been the Night Morpher Seeker guys. Everybody stay awesome and be good to each other. See you later. Bye.